Hello everyone. A lot of you emailed me asking that either they are going to computer science degree in a college or you are attending some sort of a boot camp and you wanted some information that once I graduate from college or once I graduate from a boot camp, what can be different career paths that I can take in the occupation of software development. So what can I do when I graduate from over there? So in this small video, I'm just going to give you a very high level view of different career paths that you can take and which career path I took when I graduated from college. So let's go ahead and take a look at different kind of job types that will be available to you once you graduate college or a boot camp. Full-time opportunity or full-time employment, FTE. Consultant, independent consultant, and being just an entrepreneur, meaning your own business. So let's take a look a little bit closely at each of them. So what exactly full-time employment means? Full-time employment simply means that you will be employed full-time, 40 hours a week with a company. So you will be working at a company. That company will be paying you a yearly salary, and you will be getting medical benefits and vision benefits and 401k, which is a retirement plan, and even stock options depending on which company that you are working with. So full-time employment, in other words, can also mean that you are working for large corporations, small corporations, medium-sized corporations, but you are just working for that single entity, that single company. So this means that you can be working for Microsoft, you can be working for Apple, Airbnb, Twitter, Facebook. You always go to one single location, one single office, you work over there, and you get paid yearly salary, which in other words means that you're going to get paid a paycheck every 2 weeks, bi-weekly. You get your benefits from these companies, you get your 401k retirement plan, stock options, everything you get from these companies. Now, obviously, these are not the only companies you'll be working with. So if you are doing full-time employment, there are a limited number of companies in the world that can employ you full-time. But the only thing to keep in mind, is that when you are full-time employed, you are going to be working with one single entity. So maybe you're part of the Apple Photos team, you'll be working in that team. And yes, maybe after a couple of years, you can say that, hey, I don't want to work in a Photos team. I want to move into augmented reality team. Then you can go and work in a different department. So that's the full-time employment. Let's move to the next one, which is being a consultant. Now, when I graduated from college in 2005, I took the job as a consultant. So I was working with a consulting agency. So I was employed full-time, but I was employed full-time with the consultant agency. Now, what a consultant is and how it is different from a full-time employment is that the consultant agency, which can be any agency, there are billions of those. Some of the big ones are Accenture, there's Wipro, Capgemini is huge also. Tech System in Houston or in Texas area is huge. cPanel is also huge over here, but there are a limited number of consultant agencies. So what happens is that when you graduate or when you are working with the consultant agency, you will be sent to different companies and you will be working for a client. So let's say that your client is, I don't know, Microsoft. So a consultant agency, in this case, let's say Accenture, might say that, hey, we have a project for you in Seattle, Washington. You need to fly over there and you need to work with Microsoft for next 6 months. All right. Now, after 6 months, what happens? Well, after 6 months, if they don't have a project, if this consultant agency, let's say Accenture, if it doesn't have a project for you, you will be on the bench. On the bench simply means that you are waiting for the project. It is also a good time to learn more stuff. So if you are doing, let's say, ASP.NET, or if you are doing only iOS development, maybe it's a good time to learn backend. Because the more skills you have, these consultant agencies like Accenture, Capgemini, Wipro, or any consultant agency, they will be able to market you with different skills. So maybe after 6 months, there's a project in Dallas for some other firm, then you fly to Dallas. and maybe you work over there for 1 or 2 years, and then you fly to Houston and you work for Centerpoint or you work for Schlumberger, and so on. So a consultant agency like Accenture, Wipro, Capgemini, they will keep on sending you to different clients, and you will work with the clients on their projects at their office, most probably, for a period of 6 months, 2 months, a year, 2 year. It varies. It depends on how much work the client actually needs. Now, I'm taking the example of Accenture. Not all consulting firms are going to fly you into different states or different parts of the world. There will be some consulting firms like Sogeti, Nudesic, in which they will try to find a project that is local to that area. So maybe there is a Sogeti branch in Houston, and they will always try to find the project in Houston so that you don't have to travel around. So when I graduated in 2005, I picked a consulting firm and I worked for that particular consulting firm. The benefits that you receive from being a consultant is that you get exposed to a lot of different companies as well as their projects in a very short span of time, which is great. So even I work for a consulting firm for, let's say, 3 years, I was exposed to many different projects. I work on oil and gas, medical, energy companies, retail business, a lot of different stuff in a very short span of time. So if you're looking for starting out, consulting agency is a great way to go, because being a consultant, you're always kind of like on your feet. You have to work a little bit faster as compared to a full-time employee. Now, having said that, if tomorrow Google comes or Facebook comes or Twitter or Microsoft or Apple comes and they offer you a job, don't say no. Don't tell them, hey, no, I want to be a consultant. No, I think that's a great opportunity. You should definitely take that. But if you are looking for more experience in a very short span of time, consulting can definitely provide you with that. But that does not mean that you should say no to full-time opportunities. Full-time opportunities have different benefits. Being a consultant have different benefits. All right, we'll cover that in the next video. So let's move to the next one, independent consultant. So unlike the consultant agency, independent consultant basically means that you don't really work for anyone. You just work for yourself. Now, usually when you're just getting out of college or when you are just getting out of a boot camp, being an independent consultant can be a little bit challenging, because being an independent consultant means that you have been in the business for a very long time. So you have to know ins and outs. You have to have a lot of experience. Now, yes, you can do freelance work, and that also kind of means that you are an independent consultant. But what I am talking about independent consultant is one of those people who are very, very high skilled. They have very, very high rate. They charge hourly, or they charge project based or fixed price, or that's another topic for another time. But independent consultant are basically people who are not working full-time for a company, who are not working as a consultant agency, who are just working for themselves. Now, this does mean that they can charge huge amount of money per hour basis if they are charging hourly. But since they're working for themselves, they have to factor in how many vacation days that they have to take. They have to factor in what will be the cost of medical, vision, all of those, dental, insurance, and those in the US can be very, very pricey. So being an independent consultant means you don't really work for anyone. Yes, you will have to find the clients and everything yourself. You have to factor in your vacation time. You have to factor in your medical benefits and all of those time. But usually consultant or independent consultant, in those cases, they are making such huge amount of money that everything kind of like balances out. And the last one is entrepreneur. Entrepreneur simply means that you are just forming your own company. So maybe you are part of a boot camp and your original background was in retail business or real estate business. So you can use the skills that you have learned by creating the software, and you can apply those skills into a domain which you already know, which in this case will be the real estate business. And you can become an entrepreneur, and this means that you can hire other people. And being an entrepreneur is great because you own your own business and you have your own employees. All right. So whether the business is small or big, that is something to be decided. But being an entrepreneur simply means that you have your own idea, you have your own company that you have formed, and you are hiring other people to work in your company, you're obviously also working in your company and you're making it better and better and better by creating products. So these are the different paths, some of the very common paths that will be available to you when you graduate from college or when you graduate from a bootcamp. In the next future videos, I will talk more about how the full-time employment is different from being a consultant, what to look for in a job offer. It's not all about the money. Remember always that. It's not all about the money. That's what people make mistakes when they accept a job offer. There is a huge amount of other things that go into a job offer. So all of that I'm going to discuss later on. But let me know in the comments if you like these kind of videos. Hopefully you're going to like them. I definitely do these videos for my bootcamp where I teach. So I tell them and I give lectures on the same thing and they find it very, very useful. So let me know in the comments if you find it useful and maybe in the future I can add more. Thank you.